In this video, I'm gonna tell you what kind of photography is not photography at all. Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer and a Lumix ambassador from Helsinki, Finland. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you what kind of photography I think is not photography at all. But I'm also gonna tell you what is unique in photography, in real photography, and why we all should embrace that. And everything I'm gonna say in this video is about my personal work, my personal photography that I do for myself. It has nothing to do with any kind of commercial photography or any kind of photography that I do for someone else, for paying clients. And I'd like to start by telling you why I take pictures in the first place, my personal pictures. And those of you who follow this channel, you probably know it already because I've said it many times before, but I'm gonna say it one more time here right now. Most of the time when I take pictures for myself, I take those pictures to document my life and what is happening around me. And the reason to do that is that because everything is photographed already, pretty much everything. But no one can document my life and what is happening around me the way I see it. And it's my life, so only I can document it. So it's a good reason to do that and no one else can do it. And when I look at those pictures later, I can remember the places where I went, but I can also remember how I felt at that specific moment when I clicked the shutter. And that is exactly what is unique with photography. It can literally stop emotion in time or a moment in time. And that is what we all should embrace in our photography, because that is unique. No other picture making process can do that like a photograph. You can, of course, draw or paint something that is happening in front of you. But because you can't paint or draw anything in a split second, that end result is never going to be a moment in time like a photograph is. It's always based more or less on your imagination or on your memory of the scene, because it takes a long time to paint or draw anything, relatively long time at least compared to taking a photograph, which can happen in a split second. And that ability to capture a moment in time is the most important thing or feature in photography. And that keeps me taking pictures every day. And now that you know where I'm coming from, I'm gonna tell you a few things that I consider not photography. Or maybe that's a little bit too strong expression. Maybe these things that I'm gonna say are photography, but they are not taking advantage of that unique ability to capture a moment in time. And the first is excessive post-processing. And by that I mean altering the colors and the tonality of the scene the way that it's not the same scene anymore that was in front of the camera when the picture was taken. And yes, I have done that too, so I'm guilty as well. But I try to avoid it as much as I can, because I don't care if the scene or whatever it is that I photographed doesn't have the colors I want, because I want to remember the scene. When I look at the picture later, I want to remember the moment I took the picture. And if I alter the picture too much, then when I look at the picture later, I can't remember the moment anymore, because the picture is something that never existed. And another thing that I consider not really photography is excessive sharpening and noise reduction. And I'm talking about a situation where I'm trying to retrieve something, some detail in the picture that is not there really. For example, if I have a picture with really a lot of noise in it, when I look at the picture, the original picture, I remember that it was really dark when I took the picture, and that's why I had to use really high ISO, and that's why the picture is noisy. So I remember the situation really well. And then if I managed to remove the noise or most of the noise with some application, and then I look at the picture later, I don't remember the scene anymore or the situation anymore so vividly, because the picture looks like any other picture. No noise, clean image with lots of detail. And talking about the detail in that picture, if that application manages to create some detail in that picture that was not in my original picture because the noise was covering all the detail, where is the line after which the picture becomes a synthetic picture? Because the application obviously made up that detail. It created that detail from scratch because there was no detail in my original picture. There was only noise instead of detail. So I'd much rather take my original noisy picture, because when I look at that, it brings back the memories of the situation and the challenges and all that. And that is the moment in time that I captured, both my memory of the situation and the picture itself. And if I alter that to something else, then it's not the same moment in time anymore. And then one more thing that I think is not photography, or it doesn't embrace the ability to capture a moment in time, and that is removing things from a photograph or adding things to a photograph. And once again, I'm talking about my personal photography, not talking about any kind of commercial photography or photography for paying clients. Let's say I take a landscape photograph, and there's a branch sticking out of one of the corners of the picture, and I just can't avoid the branch, but I decide to take the picture anyway. Now, if I remove the branch in post, and then later I look at the picture, I don't even remember that there was a branch in the picture sticking out one of the corners, and therefore I don't even remember the situation anymore, how it was when I took the picture. So to me it's important to have the branch in the picture, because that's the way the situation was when I took the picture. So to me it's not always important that my pictures are beautiful or flawless or awesome. Of course I try to make my pictures awesome and beautiful most of the time, but it's not always important. What is, however, important is that when I look at my pictures later, I remember the scene and I remember how I felt when I took the picture. I want to be able to remember the moment in time when I hit the shutter. And if I alter my pictures in post too much, then those moments in time, they kind of disappear. They are not the same anymore. I don't know, maybe this all was a bit too deep, but this is just something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and something that I think from time to time. And please let me know in the comments down below if you think about these things ever, and if this was just a lot of nonsense that I just let out of my mouth. And thank you again for watching, and before you go, you may want to check this video here. You may also find it interesting. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.